Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Everton 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Joined by Kane in the studio. And Ped, obviously. You're there. You need no introduction, Pedro. No, I was coming to you first anyway. But yeah, another game without defeat, 4 for Everton. And at this stage of the season, in the predicament Everton are in, 4 games unbeaten, not bad, is it, really?
Yeah, it's good for morale, isn't it? I like to say we won a point.
Yeah.
You know, because it feels like a win, doesn't it? And very much like the Chelsea game, it feels like a win. And the fighting spirit was there again, going a goal behind. And when we went 10 men down to 10 men, we were a better side, which actually seems to suggest there is actually a little bit more in this team than what we're seeing maybe from the start of games against Chelsea and again last night. And it does seem to be going in the right direction. And again, it's another point. And if we can, there'll be some games where we do need more than that point. But I think on the balance of the play last night, I thought we were actually unlucky. And if we know what the problem is, it's been there for a while. Not what we can do about it now. But yeah, it was a good result in the end.
Kane, I mean, that's the biggest, I guess the biggest plus from it was coming back in adversity. Obviously, you were at Chelsea the other week and we were behind twice in that one and got something out of it. Last night, man sent off, give a penalty away, go behind. I mean, doesn't miss pens, does he, Kane? Certainly not against us. No. Big Harry. But Everton did hang on in there, and I think we were saying on another show we done, you were saying it was what pleased me was we did go after them and try and get back into the game, and we ended up with a good
I've seen us go down to 10 in the past and we completely just sit off teams. I know we did until Tottenham scored, but once they went 1-0 up, I thought we had the goal. So I had to get back into the game. I think we had control of the whole game. I know Tottenham will sit off, and they did. But I think what we did with the ball, we were dangerous, and we did create some opportunities. And we moved the ball well, but there is definitely fight in that team now. Like I didn't think there ever would be in January, but what Dyche has done is he's created a squad what will fight for the badge, and that's what we like to see. With the Chelsea game especially, you go 1 down twice in that game and you pull it back twice, you know, and it's good signs going forward because. In the past, we've seen different managers where, say, for example, we go 1-0 down and then you just know that we're going to get beat 3 or 4, 5-0, whatever. But since Dyche has come in, I know we had the Arsenal result, but since then, I think he's made this squad resilient and they're putting up a fight and they're not going down without a fight. So that gives me encouragement going forward.
That is, I mean, Pat, it has been a sea change, hasn't it? The fact that the resilience has come from nowhere, because you can't put everything on Frank Lampard because the players have got to have this. The players have got to have this. Pat is nodding here. The players have got to have that resilience as well, haven't they? But it has been impressive the fact he's managed to get an attitude change so quickly.
I think you can put a lot on Frank Lampard. I think you can, and I think the general. And then you think you can put it on Benitez before him. If you're sending a team out almost in a defeatist manner, which I often think we did. I think you go back to the West Ham game. You look at the way we set up and the way you look at the way it was like all about self-preservation and then not having that fight. What I've really liked in the last 2 games was, Chelsea going 1-0 down. It's like someone flipped the switch. It was like, well, we've tried that way of playing, and now we're going to play this other way. And in both games, we've reacted really well to going 1-0 down. I understand there's a little balance of saying, can you play like that from the start? But Sean Dyche's job is to keep Everton in games of football, and I think that's what he is doing. And I think they all look like now they've been told loads and loads of times, you're good enough. Players like Dwight McNeil getting a run in the game, Damari Gray now getting a bit of a run, whether he plays well or not. It's different. The Corey until last night. These players are now getting a bit of a run. Michael Keane, obviously, massive beneficial of it. They're obviously every day being told, if you play like this, you will get better, and it's clearly just confidence, but it's more than confidence. Obviously, a lot's getting done on the training field, things like set pieces, And the manager obviously has his stamp on it. I go to the game now and I'm quite relaxed. I'm quite happy. I think on the field, listen, it's going to be a tight one. We know that. But I do feel like we've got a manager suddenly who's in charge of all, an adult where there's no other adults at this football club. There's absolutely no other adults. But I feel like there's an adult here now. And I feel like he understands the situation. And that's going to be massive. No matter what happens, that is going to be massive for us. Having just one person who's like, oh, maybe I'm being disrespectful to maybe like Kevin Felwell there. But I think now Kevin Felwell's got an ally in terms of we can do this together. Don't worry about all and we can sort this.
I think you're right with Benitez as well. There was that thing early on and he come out and said we're not good enough to play with the ball. I mean, to me, that was a terrible message to tell any football team. You can't play with the ball, you're not good enough. How do you then turn them players to then go out thinking we can beat anyone? You better telling the players they're the greatest thing ever, and in the hope that sometimes they'll believe it and go out and get the result. But I think he has managed to put this resilience in such a short space of time. If anything, if Everton do slip out of the league, it'll be probably just because he's ran out of games, because what he has done is he's put points on the board on a regular occasion, and we haven't been doing that, have we? All 20 games, we won 3. We look like we can win more. And I think you're right. I mean, when you sat there, there's a belief in you now, I think, that we can get something out of this, even in adversity. You think, well, we will get something. We've ended up last night with double the attempts at goal at Spurs had with a player down for 30 minutes. So that's a big, and they're in the Champions League places. So that's already showed you that Everton's becoming a tough place to play, or a tougher team to play against again.
I think Carragher said last night that if we stay in games and we keep it tight, that Everton won't go down. And that's got to be the message going forward to the players. Just stay in the game, keep it tight, and if we can nick one, there's your win. But like you said before, I think we definitely need to go to the likes of Leicester, Wolves, pick up a win there. Palace. It has to happen.
We're going to need a win at one of them 3, definitely.
And, but just stay in the games. Like, lads, when I go to the away games, the amount of times I've seen Everton go an away game and we just we turn over, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Chelsea game was really, really encouraging, and it's gone into this Tottenham game now.
I think Forest was, even though we were at Forest as well, even if we were disappointed, and we were, because it was a game we should have held on and won. We'd gone away, we'd scored 2 goals, even they'd equalised, we went in front again. We had that, we were the better side that day, no question about it, and that to me gave me that bit of confidence that we will go to places now and we will have a go and we are capable of getting a result. Then we back it up by going to Chelsea and doing the same thing and having, only it was the other way, we were behind twice when we get a point. When you're a player, and I've said this before, if you're a player and the management team are telling you stuff and you're doing it and results follow, they start believing everything you tell them. This is how the great managers get teams to play, and people will run through brick walls for them and all that, because the information they're given, if you do what they're asking you to and it breeds success, you're not going to question it. I think there's been, probably with the exception of Carlo Ancelotti, probably over the last few managers, there hasn't been enough belief in what they were doing. Like Rafa Benitez, there was too much noise for it ever to work. Marco Silva wasn't strong enough, even though some of the stuff he was saying was good. I think it was too easy to question him. Koeman was too aloof, so they didn't buy into it. And once you have, though, Frank Lampard obviously didn't win enough games of football, and so the players, I've said it a million times, give them an excuse, give them a get out, they'll take it, footballers. They absolutely will take it. If it can be your fault, not mine, I'm having that all day long.
Have you seen it in the past?
Like Ped said, with Deitch, it doesn't seem to come across like that. And the last time we had, again, this is very early, he's had 9 games or 10 games, whatever he's had, he hasn't had a lot of 9 games he's been here for, hasn't he? So the sample's tiny. But the last time we kind of had, apart from Carlo, a manager like this seemed to be like David Moyes, where it was like, you're doing, this is what I expect of you, so you have to do it. I don't think Everton quite had that in the past, whatever managers, but it is early.
No, I know we want to stress that it's early too, because we don't want to seem like we're getting, do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like we had a chat before, didn't we? Like when Tottenham went 1-0 up, I know they had that 10-minute spell after they went 1-0 up. But I think once we started to get the ball more, it made me believe that we would get something from the game. I don't know about you, Ped, I just thought.
Crowd are brilliant when he went behind.
Was going to happen, and it had to be Michael Keane hitting a 25-yard screamer, but it was great. And it gives you the belief going forward then, doesn't it?
I don't think I believed it straight away, but
as the game went on.
But I think as the game went on, and he took stock of it, and he made
positive
subs towards the end. Because you could almost have a narrative that, oh, well, they went down to 10 men, but that had no effect on the game in terms, that was a minute before we scored. I mean,
it boosted it just turned the volume up.
It was just like, now we're playing against 10 men, but I thought he was quite calm on the touchline, and I thought he made the right decisions, and ultimately, it does take that screamer, but that's what we've been saying. Just take if you see the whites of the goals, have a shot.
We finally seen the Michael Keane from the training videos come out, didn't we?
About time.
It's about time, yeah. I mean, he went with the same starting 11 that he's been using. I don't think anyone was surprised with that. I was slightly surprised Nathan Patterson wasn't on the bench, but hey ho, he mentioned it afterwards, mate. Now maybe you've got a battle to get on the bench, which is not a bad starting point. Is it after work to even be sub now? Where's this come from? Well, I kind of like that as well.
Yeah.
I thought we started all right. I was fuming the fact that we allowed Harry Kane a free header 7 yards out, that he's headed wide early on. But he also had the one off that great tackle by Tarkovsky where it broke back to him, and I think it's Michael Keane who gets the blocking. But
that was a great block back.
Other than that, and Dwight McNeil hooked one away from Porro at the far post. But other than that, they didn't create an awful lot, and we did. We had a Damari Gray one that I was right behind that he just lifted over when he bent it, and we started making our own efforts really. Onana's had one from 25 yards which the keeper saved, and at times we just made the wrong decision when we were in the final third though.
I just thought it was a competitive first half on both sides. I thought it was end to end. Without
there being a cutting edge.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was a strange game really, but like I said, I thought we did enough in the first half for it to be like an okay first half to go into the second half and go on to win the game. But at the end of the day, as long as they're running around and giving the maximum effort, I think that's all we ask for these days. Because
I want a bit more, but that's your starting point. Your starting point's got to be the effort.
That starting point hasn't been there for a very long time.
No.
And I think
there's a consistency, isn't there? That's the most important thing. There's a consistency in the performances. Excuse me. He's made changes, obviously brought Keane in, and he likes that. But there's a level of consistency, whereas 12 months ago, we were so up and down. Away games, home games, everything felt like you had to, I don't know, there was like an element of luck or whatever it was. It was just, it felt a little bit different. And again, it is quite early, 9 games, but it does feel like there's a level of consistency that suits the players rather than players having to elevate themselves. It feels all he's done is really just got players working hard in almost their natural positions.
And 12 months ago, it felt like the players didn't even want to be there. The fans probably didn't want to be there at the same time. And now I think there is a bit of belief in that way going forwards. Do
you think when you look at obviously what it was 12 months ago, Frank Lampard had to change what he was doing almost reluctantly, and he said that himself, we had to come up with a way to try and get us points. I don't feel like Dyche will do that. I feel like he will, like Ped said, he's got his way of playing, and it'll just get better with that way of playing. He won't go, well, that's not working now, so I'll try 4-2-4, or we'll try and pass it out from the back because we're not. I think it's just a case of, with him, it seems to be, it will just be repetition, so the players will know what's expected of them. And even, listen, Pep Guardiola doesn't change what City are doing really. They still do the same thing all the time, so that they're never going to change. So the players know exactly what's expected of them. I think sometimes, again, players and excuses and all that, sometimes if you start to mix things up too much, it gives them an out, doesn't it? They can turn around and be, I don't quite understand what we're supposed to be doing. I don't think any player could say they don't understand
They all know the jobs.
what it is. Exactly, and that was what I was more alluding to. Everybody goes on that pitch seems to know the job. We saw that. I think a really good example of that was last night with the substitutes. 2 centre midfielders got taken off and 2 centre midfielders come on. And if anything, we actually took over at that point when Tom Davis and James Garner
I was thinking the complete opposite when they come on, by the way.
Yeah, you were a bit like it. I thought they stopped, I've got to say, I thought they stopped it earlier. No, when they stopped the first one, because there was a drone above the stand, and I was like, is this getting stopped for a drone again? It was just there, hovering with the lights. We were looking at it, and it was like, I forgot it was the Ramadan thing. So when he stopped it the second time, I was like, that's Ramadan, isn't it?
I didn't even get onto that.
Kane, there wasn't a drone, it's just his age.
There was a drone above the main stand. But anyway, but like I say, in the first half, it was. I thought we were doing all right. We had just as much of the ball as them, if not more. In fact, we probably had more because by the end they ended up with 61% and we had 39, and we had 10 men for 30 minutes or whatever it was against 11. So we must have had a lot of the ball. There was a couple of things in the first half that was frustrating. Though, was that players not gambling. Like we had a free kick where we knock it in and Tarkowski wins every single header in the box, and he's knocked one down brilliantly. No one's ran onto it, and you're like, why? If you're running off his knockdown, you've got a clear attempt at goal, and then almost, I said this on my Mathew action, almost straight from it, the ball comes out and Dwight McNeil goes down the wing and puts a brilliant cross in, and no one attacks it in the middle of the. You're thinking, if you run in, you've got a free header.
That is the essence of our problems, though, isn't it?
No, it is. Yeah.
That's like. We all know it's not a case of like, oh, you know, we're not doing this or we're not doing that. There's no one to put the finishing touches on it.
Someone could go round Tarkowski. That's basic.
But they don't, though. That's the point, isn't it? They don't. We could do a lot of things, but our players just don't know how to do these things, and that is ultimately why we are where we are. Yeah. Sean Dyche has constructed a very solid workmanlike team that does create the odd chance or gets us in good areas, but then players are reluctant to put that cross in. They have been all season because there's no one in there, and again, when you see that, it just amplifies it. It's a brilliant ball, he digs it out, and there's no one there, no one's gambled, no Decore, no Onana. No one gambles off, as you said, the Tarkowski ones last night. They have in other games, but it just, you know, they're the instincts our players lack.
See, that'd be a directive to me. When we've got a free kick, let's have someone running around by him because he wins most headers for the knockdowns. That I think, and listen, I'm sure Dyche will do this, or Wone or Stone, whoever it is, will look at it and go, he is winning like 95% of the headers, so run off him, because of a little knockdown, you've got a shot at goal. Because we did have the one where we worked it, and Iwobi put in the core, he was on his own with the header, and he just 50 pence headed it far into the park end, and that's in these games, that's huge. That's a big against a good side, that's a chance, isn't it? But we went in 0-0, like you said, Kane, at half time. I thought it was a little bit flat the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
The crowd were a bit quiet because they'd been good at times. But nothing was really happening.
It wasn't a good game.
No,
it wasn't a good game.
It was. They looked like a team with no real confidence, and we looked like a team that didn't have anything in the final
third. They didn't look like a team with anything.
No,
they are crap.
They were awful.
They're one of them. No, they're one of the worst.
How are they going for top four? How?
Because they've got unbelievable.
But they look so.
Kulusevski was good. I thought he was.
No, he did. He tore a step at times.
Yeah,
but
he was the one.
They look so.
Look like they had no idea.
They look like they were arsed.
I just don't think. I think the two lads in midfield aren't good enough for them. I think they're not for a team he wants to go for.
Who they miss? Winksy.
They've got him. They've got a lad. They've just got Winksy Light in Oliver Skip.
They just They're not.
When if they had, to me, they're still like a Christian Eriksen short. I think someone like that who can pull the strings, because they've got solid players, haven't they? But them front three. I was just looking, thinking, even one of them in our
front three. Doesn't look at Abbey Camp though, does it?
But do it? No, it doesn't look at
I said to Baz before, so I remember Perisic arguing with the manager. Second half.
I tell you what I found really weird: the amount of times Harry Kane pulled off to the left wing.
Yeah, he was just playing.
And I was like, it was just like a.
But like, no one was going in his position though. So if he comes out, whoever it is, whether
he was going into his position. It was like he was trying to drag Seamus Coleman out, and then filling in the space between him and Michael Keane. but it just didn't really work.
No.
That one in Seamus again a couple of times in the first half. He's doing this thing lately where when they knock a ball forward, he's turning his back and running.
Yeah,
and the ball. I was like, what are you doing? You're not even looking at the ball.
Yeah.
But Iwobi exposed him a couple of times and left them 2v1. And Coleman's like, he had to have a go with him because Iwobi went doing the false press. I'll just jog over it. And when he comes out and seen Deitch having a go with him, and I think Iwobi was like, what am I supposed to do? Well, what you're supposed to do, mate, is go Mark Perisic, who's so Seamus hasn't got 2v1. Forget about them having the ball on the halfway line. Just make, and he did do it second half. He didn't really get in round us. That was the only thing. We come out second half, and the way the first half had gone, I was thinking, that's all right. You know, it's 0-0.
It was 0-0 last time.
They haven't really, Pickford hasn't really had anything to do, which is good. Yeah. We come out, it's in the balance still. We can get a goal. And for the first 10 or 15, we had the golden chance, I think, of the night, didn't we? We win the ball back. Garner's got the ball. The Corey's on his own. He's got the Mari. I think he's even got McNeil as well. And all he has to do is roll it into the Corey, and he's in with the keeper 6-7 yards out. And he doesn't even hit the target and blazes it over. And I don't know what you two were thinking, but I'm just thinking.
Because the Corey had all of that space in front of him. Anyone with common sense with the ball there, you'd knock him in.
No, I would have just shot, but I would have put it in the top corner. Oh, that'd be the easiest thing to do, wouldn't it?
It would, but Garner Gaido can't shoot, and that's shown, isn't it?
I think if he just slides at the corner, he just slaps it in and we'll win him.
Exactly.
And it's them moments when you look and you go, that's a huge moment. And obviously,
literally the ball nearly hit the upper glass.
10 minutes later, you're sitting there going, because 10 minutes later, we had the red card incident, which for any Tottenham fan watching, I'm not saying it isn't a red card, but the behaviour of Harry Kane is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. For such a wonderful footballer, it's embarrassing. You know, that he fouls Damari Gray, the referee blows the whistle, he leaves one on the Corey, I don't know why, but he follows through and makes sure he catches him. Then he grabs the Corey's shirt. Now, where the Corey's got to be clever here is, I had to take the shirt off and pass it to him. Make a big thing of it to the referee that he's pulled him, because he'd have got him booked. If you're going to shove him low. Don't. The minute you put a hand here, you're off. Yeah. Unless it's a Merseyside derby and it's Trent Alexander-Arnold or anyone ever. The minute he goes like that, it's a red card. And Kane, I'd be embarrassed if I was Harry Kane this morning, because to go down and to roll around and just like be looking, and he's down for 3 minutes or something, getting treatment. When you watch it again, he gets shoved there. That's there. You couldn't push Harry Kane over if you tried.
Unless you hit him on the tongue.
He's a unit. Every time I see him at Goodison, he just looks bigger. You're looking at him going, he's massive.
Huge.
And it's embarrassing from him. It's a red card because he's raised his hand and he's put it in his face. But
you know what though?
Absolutely embarrassing.
I was thinking though, if Harry Kane doesn't go down, I don't think it'd be a red card.
No, it's not.
It's not a red card. Kane's been very clever there by throwing himself on the floor.
The Corey's been stupid.
And knowing that the Corey will get sent off, I think that's what's happened there. I'm not defending that, by the way, because you know what I mean. It does happen. But it was a red card. Like you said before, if he's got to push him on the chest here, why is he putting his hand in his face?
You know it's
ridiculous.
Off. You see Onana go like that straight away because you know what's happening.
It's something you tell the kids if they do it and they get sent off and pushing someone in the face. It's just not going to happen. No. In the chest, and that's it then.
I think he was aiming for his chest, and I think Kane pulled him just at the right time, so it elevated his hand. No, it's science, honestly.
It could be science.
Maybe logistics. He pulls him when he goes like that. But it's not a smack. He's just trying to push him back. But he's being stupid. You can't do that. He's the worst for it, Kane. He's always been the worst for it. He's the people make out like it. He's horrible. I remember he nearly broke bleeding Adam Lallana's back once, and then got the foul for it. Yeah. He's horrible. He's horrible, and he gets, because he's the England captain, he gets treated differently to everybody else. That's the thing.
If it was somebody else, though, he'd be treated different. Simple as that. He's England captain.
He's horrible.
Yeah. The frustrating thing is it was avoidable, and at 0-0 against them, we could go on and win that game, and then obviously he goes off and you just fear the worst. I'm amazed no one went and got him involved in a scrap after that and got him booked, because he was wound up, just kick him and he'd have been sent off.
I don't think he gets wound up though.
I think
that's the thing. I've never seen Kane get wound up in me. Like, I think he
is smart.
He's cleverer than a lot of players, the way he does.
Put Yerry on. Yerry had the wound up. Yerry winds everyone.
Yerry winds.
And then obviously a few minutes later we give a penalty away, and it's pathetic by Michael Keane. I'm sorry. It is absolutely embarrassing. Everton doing the thing again of just putting a foot out in the box. I'll just swing at something that I can't even see. The players here running towards their fans with the ball. What's he going to do? Do some mad flicking over a kicker? It was Romero. Let him go. Don't put your foot out. And he swings at it blindly and gives a penalty away.
Is he going to learn about this, by the way? This has been going on with Michael Keane, especially for a very long time. I don't know how many times.
And he was having a decent game up to then.
He was, to be fair.
He was having a good game up to then.
He's got us back in the game and stuff like that, but that should never happen. No. You know what I mean? It's just the basics, isn't it?
Kane smashes the pen in. You're 1-0 down, and then you just think, long way back here. 10 men, 1-0 down. These have got good players. You're on the break now with Son, and you've got Kane there and Kulusevski. Looked a long, long way back. And then Michael Keane, for me, done what Michael Keane does. Then he obviously realised the mistake and then just had a nightmare. For the net, was giving things away, was kicking balls out, was knocking things, putting people under pressure. His head had gone a little bit. I give him loads of stick then, and he comes up with a great goal, and the fella in front of me turns around, gives me a laughing stick. I was happy to take it, I deserved it. Yeah. But it was just, for me, there's two moments there that Everton could have avoided to get themselves they put themselves in trouble. The sending off, and then a stupid flick of a foot, which gives a penalty. We done it against Ghana, done it against Villa in a very similar game. A game we were the better side in. It was 0-0. It was a bit knife edgy, and he throws a stupid. He can't get the ball, and he puts a foot out, and the lad goes down. We lose the game, and it felt like that last night. It was like this is a game where I think we can nick this, and we've shot ourselves in the foot. But listen. From that moment, I think it took 5 or 10 minutes to get our heads together. Yeah. After that, Spurs didn't create anything, but they had more of the ball. But the manager moved a couple of things around, put Ellis Sims on, and the subs have give us a little bit of...
I actually thought he might have brought Ellis Sims on just before actually descending off. I thought the game was there to go and be won. But so whether he had that in his plans,
he was warming up as well.
I thought he might have actually, because I did think the game was there to be won. I didn't think Damari Gray was doing anything for us. He dealt the ball up a couple of times, won a couple of fouls, but hadn't done anything. Had he? He was poor last night. But he made a couple of good subs. You know, he took Onana off and Guy again. I still want more out of Onana. He was a bit better last night, a lot more touches than he's had in other games. And Garner I thought Garner played well apart from the miss. But yeah, I mean, again, who knows how physically they're being affected by the fact that it's Ramadan, you know what I mean? Who knows? So he made a bold decision. You know, he takes Seamus off. Moves over Ben Godfrey to the right, Michalenko to left back, who was obviously wearing fish on his feet, or quick save carrier bags, one or the other. And then rejigs the midfield. I brought two players on who actually kept the ball really well. I think Garner had 100%. Pascal, something like that. And I think Tom was something like 5 out of 6. So we kept the ball. We kept the ball. That's what we did. It was like that old-fashioned Everton under David Moyes thing of being the second half, going for a late goal and just keeping the ball. And what was that weird was there was times where they looked like they had 10 minutes, like they were kicking it away, and there was no one up front. Yeah, they were just like no. I was like, where's they all gone?
They were trying to pass it out the back lane, and then our players were just pressing.
But they had no out. What was that weird was they had no output. Yeah. So every time they kicked it away, it just came back to one of our players and we started and stuff.
It's been a while since I've seen a good side, like a quality side, smashing a ball just anywhere down the other end of the pitch, and we just had the ball. But they were, I said it on something else, passing it out from the back. They made Everton look decent under Lampard, passing it out from the back. They were awful. Villa were bad at it the other week. Villa were terrible at it the other week. They were worse than Villa at it. That, to me, is an example of someone thinking that's how you play football, so that's how you do it, only you can't do it. Instead of, I think Spurs' next manager will go in and will look at that and go, that isn't how you play football. will do it a different way, because you've got to have players to do that. Good managers realise your shortcomings, and obviously he's just a caretaker manager, fair play to him, but David's dreadful at it. That Lenglet was horrific, absolutely horrific at it.
Yeah, I think when you were 3-1 up at Southampton the other week, you were doing similar things.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Losing the ball in silly areas. They give away a penalty last minute.
Yeah.
The Ward-Prowse scored it, and it's just silly errors. And that's what they kept doing. And all we were doing was just chasing them, and they were just panicking, hesitating. I just think with Tottenham, something's going massively wrong behind the scenes.
Yeah, they've got better players than what they're showing.
Yeah, exactly. And like the players just look shot of confidence. They've got no confidence whatsoever, and they looked really, really poor yesterday. Really poor.
Really
They've got to go Cartrack though, so
yeah.
You know, what would you rather have?
I mean, they weren't happy over Daniel Levy. They give him a bit of stick. The subs, yeah, obviously the subs. There was a few groans when you seen both centre midfielders going off for Davis and Garner, but
That was one of them.
no, but listen, the manager's looking.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, he said about the Ramadan stuff, and you've got to protect players.
Of course, yeah.
But it gave us a little bit of energy. Tom Davis come in and sat them well. James Garner got on the ball and tried to make us pass. They brought Lucas Moura on, and then a few minutes later he was off.
Terrible
with
tackle,
what was a absolutely horrific tackle.
Yeah.
And then you've got Harry Kane shaking his head at the referee below me like that, wagging a finger. Like, what are you wagging a finger for, mate? It was a leg breaker. You'd still be laying there needing oxygen. You know, because the way you went down, someone shoved you. Moura at least went like that. I think he knew, didn't he? It was a bad tackle. And that all that did was it just turned, like I said before, turn the volume up, didn't it? Yeah. We were like we can get something here, even though we were coming towards the end of the game, and then obviously Michael Keane made me eat my words a little bit. But I did say he had one in the first half where a free kick come in and he got a bit of space, chested it down and hit it.
He hit it, didn't
and I said to everyone around me, there's not one person I'd rather have felt to than him. The way you see him in the training videos, mate.
The training videos, yeah, but I'm not going to lie, when he got on the edge of the box, I was like, don't shoot, don't shoot.
I was saying, shoot.
Why not? No one else would have shot.
Muscle memory.
But it's a hell of a strike.
Oh, it was unreal. Reminded me of companies against Leicester.
Lloris just give it that, didn't he? Wasn't getting there. And then, don't know about YouTube, but I thought we'd go on and win it then, because he put the board up as well, didn't he? 6 minutes. I was thinking, I feel like we're going to win this, because the last time we beat them was exactly the same, wasn't it? We scored in the 90th minute and then scored.
I think if we played for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, I thought that, yeah.
But definitely would have.
Or we would have kept. It was just one of those. It was a weird one, wasn't it? Because
they did get a corner, though.
They got that corner, but they hadn't really done anything, had they? Let's be honest. After they scored, they didn't do anything.
No.
I think that would be the biggest worry for Tottenham fans is why didn't you just go and kill us? Why didn't you just go and kill us off? But they didn't.
I don't think they can hold on to a lead whatsoever now, Tottenham.
No. The low on you can see the low on confidence as well.
That Tarkowski chance.
Yeah, well, do you know what? That's going in that.
It is going in.
It hits their player, doesn't it? It hits their player.
It's a great block. Yeah. Another day that goes in.
But again, though,
you could have hit him and gone in.
But the thing about it is, though, that's again, when you're looking at our team and things are bouncing around the box and we don't react. No one reacts. We haven't got play. There's one that fell to Michalenko, and I think he slipped over or something. It was like
even Keane went for it.
Just our players are like they just. This is why we are where we are. We're a solid football team that just doesn't have a true threat up front. And I actually think the team last year was worse, but it had Richarlison. Yeah. So it had a goal threat.
And Dom come back at the right time.
But this year, if you had the Richarlison or you had Dom coming back at I think, again, you were talking before on the live, and the Bournemouth game, he should have just been lashed.
Yeah.
Honest to God. No given time, right, he will be seen as Mike Walker-esque, that man. He really will. I don't care how much people like him, mate. He is.
What's frustrating, though, is even if he wasn't, the Brighton game, 4-0 down their own.
The club is such a mess, though, isn't it? That the club is, when you see these financial things now, you look at it and think, probably couldn't even afford to sack him at the time.
No, but the thing is,
every week that went on was like, that's 1 week less of his wages.
We can get a crane out of that.
The forward-thinking club would definitely sack Lampard in that situation.
forward-thinking club wouldn't have given Lampard the job, mate.
Well, there you go.
No.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have given him the job.
But, listen.
No, I like every opportunity I get to have a go at Frank Lampard.
I'm saying.
Too many people like him. Stop liking Frank Lampard.
The positive thing about this was we scored so late, and we've just talked about three
loose women shite.
Three other opportunities where we might have scored the goal. You know, we've had the Tarkovsky on, you're right, it's flying in, it hits someone.
Yeah.
Other teams would have it spawned into the other corner, they won it. We've had that one where Michalenko, who couldn't stay on his feet for some reason, slipped everywhere, although I have just seen he won the most tackles of the night.
5 out of 5.
Which is tremendous. And we had the other one that was probably, again, was the most frustrating one for me, which was literally our last attack. Tarkovsky wins the header, knocks it down, and it bounces through to Lloris. Whereas if someone runs off him, they've just got to tap him.
But don't you think if we're a mid-table side, we do go and we do throw people forward, and there isn't that little bit of worry that you might let one in the other end.
But you're right, but my only thing with that was we had enough bodies in the box. They were all at the other side, as if he was going to loop one to the far post. Yeah. No one went around them. Yeah. There's got to be a thing with it. If we're in the box, and I think Kane wins every header, I just wait off you for you to knock it down. I'm just thinking he's going to win this, and I'm in with the goalie. Why wouldn't you want to be you and the keeper? So one of our men, if it's Ellis Sim, you've got to go. I've got to get round him.
You could have done with Jelic.
Yeah, exactly. With anyone.
That Velios overhead kick.
Anyone with
43, mate.
He's a bit old, let it go, King. Anyone with a goal scoring instinct would just come off Tarkovsky and think he will win this. But listen, at 1-0 down in the 89th minute, we'd have all took a point. I remember I said to you before, Kane, didn't I? Remember last season when we played Leicester and Richarlison scored that goal late on, and you celebrate and you come out going, that was an opportunity for 3 points. Last night, Spurs weren't at it. It was an opportunity for 3 points. However, we got a point and climbed out the bottom three. And I think that's how we have to look at it. We were saying yesterday, if we can't win it, just don't lose it. Keep the momentum building. And that was like, if you look back to that Villa game the other week, we should never have lost that. All right, we mightn't have had enough to win it because we just wasted so many opportunities. But if we'd have got out with a 0-0 that day, or a 1-1, even though you'd have been a bit frustrated, you'd have gone, we've got an extra point though, haven't we? And that's what we have to do now. We have to get something out of every game so that we're still in the fight. We are in the fight. You know, after West Ham, I think a lot of us thought, they look gone. We look gone. The club haven't bought anyone. Things were depressing. We didn't look like we could get anything anywhere, did we? Where now I'm looking at those 3 away games in particular. And I'm not ruling out United at the weekend, by the way, because I think if we go and frustrate them, we could get something there. Yeah. Brighton away, Brighton are a really good side, loads of time for them, but why not? So I'm looking now going, well, I think we'll have a chance in every game we play. City at home, because City are the only team for me that can't be embroiled in a scrap. You can't really affect them. They're just like robots. They just play the game. And normally that's good enough for them. But I think in every other game, I think we can affect it. But I do believe, don't know what you two, I do believe we're going to have to win one of those away games against Palace, 100%. Wolves or Leicester.
Defo, 100%, mate. And like you said, I think we just got to stay in games, not roll over for other teams to score 3 or 4 past us at the end of the day. Do not go back to being like that, please, because we just got to keep consistent with what we're doing now. Be competitive and just fight for points at the end of the day. But I do agree, Defo. I think, I don't know, I think we can go to Leicester, and just get some from there and get the win there like we did last year. We did it last year, so we can do it again, 100%.
I think Wolves, I know we have
all 3 of those games.
We haven't got a great record at Wolves, but they don't score goals like us as well.
All 3 games will be close, won't they?
Yeah, they will.
You can nick a goal in them, then. But yeah, we've got to get a win in one of them 3, definitely. Can't rely on the home form.
No. We've just talked about being competitive and all that, and Ghana, I thought, Idrissa, I thought, had a good game. Yeah, the City was shocking. He should have passed it, but in general, I thought he harried them. He won the ball back a few times off them, some good ball recoveries. Let's have a look at his numbers from the game last night. Passing accuracy, 89%. Key passes, 1. Long balls, he completed 3 out of 3. His ground duels, he won 5 out of 6. And he had 4 tackles as well in the game. And I thought he had quite a good game. I think he done a little bit more pressing than what Onana did. I think Onana kind of sat in the six a little bit more last night just to try and snuff stuff out. And I thought Garner done all right chasing him.
He was excellent. I think he's been excellent in the last 4 games. I think, you know, the Arsenal game was give the goal away, and I think that might have been an eye opener. And I think the slight positional and differences with having the third man in midfield has helped them. And I think, you know, he's a lot more focused now and up to speed with the Premier League. It's took him a while. Maybe Sean Dyche's what he wants out of him, and maybe just general fitness as well, because again, he hasn't got Mondays off. So it all helps, and I think he's been playing really well. And you hear people going, "Oh, you need to put James Garner in the team," and you're like, "No, you don't. He's a really important player in our side, and he's going to become even more important in the next 3 games without the Corey." So,
is he someone, Kane, who people don't realise how good he is at what he does, because he is lax at sometimes. Seeing the Arsenal goal was poor from him, but I think he thought it was a foul, and the back pass against Brighton was stupid. But in general, I think he's been good for Everton all season.
He has. Apart from them 2 big mistakes, he's been probably one of our most consistent players. I think, considering his age too, he's 33? 33. Stuck right at it, hasn't he? And he's kept the midfield ticking over. I think that's probably been one of our bright bits of the season.
No, I think you're right, 8 ball recoveries as well last night. He had 2 shots. He had the one that he saved. It was decent effort, but he should have saved it. Like we said, interceptions, 100% of his tackles. So created a chance as well. So overall, I thought he had a good game. The other person, obviously, we should have a look at as well is Michael Keane, because barring those 20 minutes after the penalty, he was all right. He was quite solid and came up with an absolute rocket of a goal. He won 4 out of 5 of his aerial duels, 2 out of 5 of his ground duels, 4 clearances, 50% of his long balls he completed, and obviously came up with an absolute worldie of a strike. A 3 attempts at goal as well last night from a centre back. And I think one of the things, 92% passing accuracy from a centre back isn't bad, and it isn't the Roberto Martinez pass it to me, to you, the Chuckle Brothers stuff. 7 ball recoveries, 1 block in there as well. So I think one thing, he committed 3 fouls. He doesn't normally commit fouls, Michael Keane. It was 3 last night.
Too nice.
Yeah, too nice. But I think you know, Sean Dyche obviously with him trusts him, and he likes the fact that him and Tarkowski have played together before and seem to understand each other's game. He has got a cut out. He's, you know, it's another error leading to a goal. We saw it at Chelsea last week. Forest, he could have done better there. But in general, he's been decent, hasn't he? And I think, like Ped said I think he said last week or the week before, he's quite clearly there to win most of the headers and let Tarkowski do the other stuff, isn't he? And as a partnership, it's been all right,
haven't they? They've, like again, they've made teams struggle to break us down, haven't they, with them 2 there. But me in general, though, I must admit, like, I think before Keane coming back into the side, I'd have picked Mina to come back.
Oh, definitely.
Because he's probably our better defender. But considering with what he's been like with the past few games, I think Keane's been sound, to be honest. I think he's done a good job. Like you said, then with the Forest and the game last night, there is still a few errors. And after that mistake, I just thought his head went for the last 20 minutes. And that the goal summed that up in a way. Do you know what I mean? So, he's been all right, hasn't he?
Great goal.
Just trust in it. The manager just trusts him. And you can hear that when he talks about him. There's no negativity in what he's giving away a penalty. He's never been my favourite player. No, but he is what he is, isn't he? And the manager trusts him at this moment.
He's a centre forward.
There must be a reason why Mina isn't in the team at the minute.
Because he doesn't play. Because he won't.
He hasn't. Has Mina played a minute under Dyche?
No, and he won't. I don't imagine he will.
The only way I can see him playing is if Everton got to the stage where that Bournemouth game wasn't there was nothing on it.
Yeah, and he just...
And he gives him some minutes.
He makes decisions. What I would say, he makes decisions, doesn't he, on players, and then says, right, well, I'm sticking to it, and then that probably helps with the training and everything. He's made a decision on Conor Cody.
Yeah.
You know, he's...
You've got to play.
What it is,
you've got to play yourself into the team. I think it's the old-fashioned. Clearly, you've got the share keeper.
But to be fair, Tarkowski and Keane, they've done a good little partnership together there, haven't they?
Well, he's come back in the team, and okay, we lost against Arsenal, didn't we? But in general, they've played 5 games. We're 4 unbeaten now, aren't we? And he's been playing okay. Yeah, he's made a couple of errors in that, and you want him to cut them out, of course you do.
Yeah.
But in general, if the manager has got the least to worry about, if he goes, well, I can trust them. That's all it is. Right now isn't really the time for experimenting. But there's no time. There's no time to experiment.
You can only go with what you know, can't you?
Exactly. And if he thinks, well, we work now with Nina in centre-back and Yerry Mina last 15 minutes of a game, then all of a sudden, okay, Michael Keane could come off the bench and drop in, but you're working on things all week, aren't you? And I guess that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's the same with James Garner. You know, people want Garner. We'll now see whether James Garner can force his way in on Saturday. Will it be James Garner? Will it be Tom Davis? Will it be Ellis Sims up front, Damari Gray, right, Nwobi in the 10? You know, the manager's got a couple of different ways he could go with that at the weekend, hasn't he? We're seeing it with the Mikalenko sub of late. You know, Ben Godfrey was in again last night. Some people were calling for Miko to come back in. He's sub. He comes on. Ped's saying no. He comes on with whatever it was, and then Seamus Coleman's taken off, and Godfrey's been pushed to the right back. So already we're seeing the manager going, well, Seamus can't really keep bombing up and down for 90 odd minutes. Now, hopefully, Patterson will force his way back into the squad, and then that'll be Nathan Patterson's chance to get in. Right now, though, the manager has not seen Patterson play a minute under him. So he's just going, well, right now...
Well, Patterson will be on the bench on Saturday now, won't he?
Well, he will now because of the thing. But what I'm saying is, I imagine he's looking and going, this for me isn't the time to start going, let's put Patterson in and let's put James Garner in and let's try Yerry Mina, because those changes could end up in a 4-0 defeat. Exactly. And we go, what the... Definitely. So let's hope that Everton get unbelievable results and other results go on with a couple of games left. We're just chilled and he can play whoever he wants. That is the dream, isn't it? But let's have a look at the overall stats from the game anyway. Everton 13 attempts at goal to Spurs' 8. 6 on target for the Blues, just 2 on target for Tottenham. 1 big chance for Everton, 2 for Spurs. I don't know where the other one was. 39% possession.
Sweet spot.
Just over the sweet spot of 38.
Yeah, I'd say you get it.
Yeah, there is the safety net
either side.
The swing. And 377 passes to 596. But overall, obviously, Everton have more attempts at goal, and this is what we were crying out for.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing he's been able to do really well, is that they've turned a team that really wasn't even shooting in the end under Frank Lampard to one that's having attempts and crosses and stuff, and hence why we're scoring in most games. So we're going to need that to continue. You know, I think that was our 23rd goal of the season, which when Erling Haaland's got 44 on his own or something, it tells you what it's
terrible, that, isn't it?
It is, but
you know what, under Dyche though, we do look for that going forward, don't we? Like,
I think up until the weekend, and I imagine it won't be much different last night, there was only 4 teams that created more chances, had better XG than us with chances created.
It's just lacking a centre forward at the end of the day.
We know, it's been there all season. Yeah. I asked Kane this before, let me ask you this before we finish. And again, like I said before, the caveat to this is that probably shouldn't really even be discussed at this time. But with what you've seen of Sean Dyche so far, are you confident that moving forward he can get better plays and be a little bit more progressive with what we're doing?
Yeah, I have no issue with the way Everton play.
The only reason I'm saying it, because last night it was evident to me that we're sound up until that final third, then we lacked that inventiveness and that instinct, don't we?
That's easy. It's easy recruitment, really.
And it's got to be the right recruitment.
Buy a centre forward and buy someone who's got a little bit about them in the final third who can open a team up. I don't think that's difficult recruitment.
That's why I said before, all on the summer window, isn't it? Getting the right players in.
Again.
Yeah, but the problem is we're buying from the Unibond division.
Looking for freezing loans. Yeah.
No, we're literally going into the Unibond shop. The guy sells glue.
Looking for something to stick.
We're going to buy him.
Probably going to glue Dom's.
No, it's difficult, isn't it? But then we have, we've got a couple of kids. Maybe could come in and help the squad, but who knows?
There is players out there, though, even on a limited budget. There's players, you just have to take the chance on them and go, well, all right, he's playing in Austria, stay, or he's playing
or a loan.
Belgium, or a loan at clubs.
To
and
get
just
you through.
We just need this. And that we don't have
Listen, if they can afford new timeline boards for the Goodison Road,
then they can afford
the striker because... the cost.
They had to make sure that went up before the game.
The cost of listen,
Sabush Morale came.
The cost of marine salvation these days. I mean, it's akin. You've had James Cameron's production of Titanic going down. This was Bill Kenwright's production of him and Denise's like that at the front at the Leeds and Leicester. Leeds and Liverpool. Leeds and Liverpool Canal. Yeah. Denise's like that. Bill's behind it going, it's really, really deep. And
let's leave it there. Is it in you? Can we go? Right, we're going to carry on Premier now. But so if you want
marine salvation, head over to
other stories
Premier.
about the deepness. Get over there. The link is in the description. There'll be a QR code on the screen in a minute. Big thanks to Kane. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching. We will see you later.